I actually lean towards being attracted to a brown eye. Oh my God, I just said that.
Did you plan that?
No.
I think you did seem like it.
This is Ivy, and you're listening to
Slut Shame This.
Check 1 2. Check. Hello, hello. Hey guys, and welcome back to Slut Shame This. This is your host, Ivy LaBelle. I'm so happy you guys are here today because I have an awesome guest. Her name is Matisse Andrews. She's a longtime friend of mine, a makeup artist, and a model. And she's coming on to talk about body image. It's a subject that's important to me that I've dealt with a lot in my life. And we're just going to kind of chat about what it's like being in front of the camera and dealing with the pressures of society, how we view ourselves, everything from Photoshop to plastic surgery. So I hope you guys enjoy. Guys, this is my lovely friend Matisse. I just cheers to myself. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for coming on the pod.
Thank you for having me.
I'm popping your pod cherry right now.
You really are. I'm nervous and I'm excited.
That's how you should feel
Right.
the first time. Yeah, like a little sweaty in the armpits.
My
maybe.
hands.
Okay. Oh.
I have palmar hyperhidrosis, which means extreme sweaty hands and feet.
I smell it.
You did smell it. Yeah. Since I was a kid, I've always had sweaty hands and sweaty feet, but they're particularly sweaty right now.
I love it. I get sweaty on set. I get really nervous before scenes every time. It doesn't go away.
Makes sense.
And also just like thinking that I have to look good while I'm doing it. And so with new partners, like they'll always go to touch my lower back and it's like wet. Very sweaty. And like I like the first thing I say to everyone is, sorry, I'm so sweaty. It's so disgusting.
Sorry, I'm so sweaty.
It's like, and then I'm like just triggered by like feeling like my inner fat kid forever, just like that sweaty kid. It's like,
Yeah. That's fucking me. Me modeling, same thing. I'm like constantly wet.
in a non-sexual
Yeah,
way.
in a non-sexual way.
So I want to get into that, but I also just want to introduce you to our listeners. Do you want to tell me a little bit about yourself? I know that I met you when we were both full-time makeup artists about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And you and I were working for the same companies. We never really crossed paths.
Right, because we would never be booked at the same day.
Right, because it was like I was a regular at Wasteland, you were, and Forever 21, it was just like switching off.
Yeah.
But I was like, who's this Matisse? This mythical Matisse.
Yeah.
And like the name, I must put like a face to the name. And then I met you and was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And we've,
The love was mutual.
yeah, I have like an old picture like on my Instagram of like me and you like at
Was it where?
Teddy's. We look nice.
Do we?
We look nice. We look the same as we do now.
Really?
I had like
Actually,
light brown hair.
Will you show me later?
Yeah, I will.
Because I'm intrigued, because I probably will hate it. Anytime I look at a picture of myself, like in the, maybe after the last couple years, I'm like, what was I thinking?
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think because I would dress for trends a lot, you know?
Okay.
And now I'm trying to be I'm way more streamlined into being a classic. Like if I want to be like, if I look back at a photo of myself now in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, I'm not going to be embarrassed.
You want it to feel consistent?
Consistent, because I was a scene emo kid in high school.
Ooh, tell me more.
Oh my God. So it's like looking back at my high school yearbook photo is a nightmare. Like,
Did you have
kind of a joke.
bangs
Straight black
over?
hair, straight across. Yeah. Actually, my senior portrait, it was the pomp in the front, because the pomp was a really big thing at the time.
With the sides kind of down?
Like a kind of a mullet. It was like the black straight mullet, and the flat iron was my best friend.
Right.
And and I had a lip ring, and I wanted to be a MAC counter girl at the time.
I was a MAC counter girl. That was my first job.
So that was my
second job.
That was my dream, but it never happened. But but like I loved makeup that like that was like,
Right.
okay, I'm going to go do that.
Did
And,
you
like,
did you pose for your MySpace photos with like a makeup brush in your mouth?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't make it.
Not quite
no,
there.
No,
Okay.
no. But
Okay.
like had like the
Close.
smoky black eye, but then would do the red blend out, you
Oh,
know?
that
And
was
then,
my
like,
favorite.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. And
I
then
was
the
really goth, but like same.
Yeah. Frosted pink lip, you know, like the frosted pale ass lip.
Yes.
Yeah, raccoon eyes and like just pale face. And
I
so
love
it was like the emo goth scene. And I was also a broho on top of it. It was like a crossover of all, you know, they all kind of like were.
What cigarettes did you smoke?
I've never smoked a cigarette in my life.
Wow. Okay. Because I associate brohos with smelling like vanilla body splash plus cigarettes.
Those were my friends, but not me.
Also, a stripper's locker room.
Totally.
Same
I was
smell.
about to say, I'm
Same
like,
smell.
maybe the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you met me, as a makeup artist. And then a few years ago, I've crossed over from makeup artist to model, which has been a really big career shift. I'd never thought that was going to be my story, but here I am.
I love it for you. And how did it come about? And what made you decide that like you really wanted to focus more on this than makeup? Because I was literally same boat, different boat.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like one toe in, maybe, and you know, I don't know. I love makeup. Like it's such a form of expression and artistry that I really value, and self-expression, because that's all I had. Like I grew up, again, I was seen emo broho, but I was also like the fat girl of my friends. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like I was never fully accepted as like the beautiful hot one that people are interested in like dating or talking to. You know what I mean? I'm always like the best friend or the, you know, that,
no, I understand.
that was me.
Yeah.
That was my entire existence growing up. And so what I did have was my face. So my face was my palette, you know, where I was
Right.
like, I found beauty in makeup and like, I can at least control this thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And it also brings me back to thinking about drag.
Totally.
Because we were just talking about it, and so I feel like I have to bring it up.
Yeah.
So I didn't start really watching Drag Race the way that I'm into it now until just a couple months ago.
What?
I know, but I've caught up with a swiftness.
But welcome. I mean, gosh, you've had so much to catch up on. Like,
I
yeah.
consumed it all in such a small time, and I already have like all my favorite queens and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I deeply weep every time they talk about their lives and their paths and stuff. Because even though I'm not gonna, you know, say that I experience the same experiences, there's a lot of parallels, and I feel for them, and I feel that it's so beautiful how makeup really can be something that transforms your entire life,
Totally.
not just, you know. It's not just vanity. It's more than that.
it's
So,
not. It's
yeah.
not.
It's art for sure.
It is. Yeah.
Okay, so you were doing makeup, and then when did the modeling opportunities start becoming something you wanted to take more seriously?
Okay, so people had been telling me like, oh, maybe you should think about modeling. I was like, I don't know.
I mean, look at you. Yes.
Thank you.
Agree.
But I never really thought of it as something that could be a career for me. Also, just because I'm a real control freak.
Okay.
And, you know, when you're a model, you don't get to choose what images are put out of you.
Right. You don't have creative control at the end of the day.
You have to really let all that shit go. And
Yes.
so for me, the idea of that was really paralyzing. But one day I was on set and a model really was telling me like, you really should be in front of the camera. I don't know why you're not doing that. And I was like, I don't know. And she sent my pictures to her agent.
Oh.
And her agent, like my
She just
my
like,
Instagram. It was just
took
my
it
Instagram.
upon herself. She's
And-
like, I'm just going to make this little step
Yeah,
for
and
you.
she's like, I'm just gonna do it, and I don't really care what you say. I'm like, okay. And so then her agent reached back out and said, we'd love to meet with her, you know, whenever she's ready. And at the time, I was not ready, and I sat on that contact for a while, and then I was in Paris, and it was after the New Year. I gone for the New Year with some friends, and I woke up and I was scrolling Facebook, and I saw a friend had bought a house. And I'm like, how the fuck am I going to buy a house? I'm like, I want to adult. Like, oh, adulting sucks, but like, I want to own property. I want to get on that trajectory. I was like, okay, well, I need to make more money then, huh? Okay, how will I make more money? And so I was like, okay, what are my opportunities? I could sell drugs. I could do this or that, whatever.
I always reference drugs in like every episode.
Well, I mean, it's not, not a bad way to make some bricks. Okay. Anyway, so then I was like, this opportunity, this door is open to me. Let me see if I should walk through it. So I email the agent when I get back and I set up a meeting and I go in. I had zero expectations. I literally thought how funny it would be. Like, I'm like, this is just like, okay, whatever. Like, we'll try it
Which
out.
is like a defense mechanism.
Totally.
Too.
I was like protecting myself from being potentially hurt from like all the other rejections I've ever faced in my life.
Of course.
So, I go in, we have a meeting, and then they send me a contract the next day. It was like that.
Chills.
It was like that.
Insane.
I'm like,
you're a star, baby. It's meant to be.
I was like, did you mean to send this to me? Are you sure you got the right girl? Yeah. And so then I decided to step through that door and try it out and kind of give up all of my hangups, that come along with being a model, especially someone who grew up fat and insecure and othered and different and have to be kind of in the spotlight where you're really under the microscope and you really can't hide much,
Right.
So it's still a journey, but it's been great. It's been great and it's been hard. It's been all of the things. But yeah, so I decided to step through the door and I did it and I actually love it. Like I really do enjoy it, even though I would have never expected this to be my life. So
I get it. On that note, this is like a perfect transition because I feel like we can relate a lot with body image.
Totally.
And being in front of the camera when you grew up thinking a certain narrative about yourself, which is that I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm overweight, I'm underweight, all these things. And we both somehow transitioned from being behind the camera to in front of the camera.
Totally.
So there's a lot of parallels.
Yeah,
and
1,000%.
I feel the same way. People don't believe me, which really upsets me. Like when you discredit someone when they're like, no, I was big and it was a problem for me. And, just because there's not a lot of pictures of it, because I didn't want pictures
Right, because you made sure that shit was destroyed.
Yeah, I was like, this was like back in the day of like, disposable cameras. I'm like,
Totally.
face up. We're not getting this body in there.
I'm like...
Exactly. For me, it was crazy because I always had been fascinated by porn in the adult industry, but the main hang up I had about not entering, which is crazy because of all the other things I could have hang-ups about, was my body. And I was like, I don't want to be under that microscope. It's the most intense 4K microscope you could dream of.
There's literally, you can't hide. There's no hiding.
None at all.
No.
And I was really insecure about...
Do you make good friends with your gaffer? The lighting guy?
Sometimes there's not even that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's another thing too, was when I started and you're getting these photos taken of you and they're taking hundreds of photos, you're thinking, oh, they're going to pick the best 20 and edit them. No. They release the raw, unedited... Your lashes are like, you're looking halfway, your mid-blink, it's side rolls, it's stretch marks, you're seeing parts of you that like, you don't even necessarily see in the mirror.
1,000%. Yeah.
It's so humbling. And I struggle constantly with my own relationship with my body. And I know that I'm not the only one. And I know it's seemingly obnoxious when someone that like maybe objectively you think oh, like you've never experienced this, but I've been everything from a 16 to a 0. I've had eating disorders, I've had weight fluctuations, and it's all because of this pressure to be this ideal body type. And I know you've felt similarly.
Definitely. Yeah.
So how have you felt transitioning into modeling and letting that go? Like when a picture is released of you, what are some feelings and thoughts that go through your mind?
Yeah, that is out of my control. What can I do about it? There's nothing that I can do.
You got your paycheck.
I'm literally in this. The thing is I started modeling because I'm like, I wanted to get to a different place in my life as an adult, to buy a house, et cetera, et cetera. But then I realized that it also came with a lot more visibility. To be someone that other people can look up to.
Absolutely.
And that's not what I started out to do, but that's what it's turned into. And that's something that I value because growing up, I did not see one person that looked like me at all in entertainment, in the magazines,
right,
in anything. There was no representation. And so I think the lack of that representation then created this false sense of what my worth was because I wasn't a size 2 and I couldn't wear low cut jeans and nothing.
Frankie B's weren't
Frankie
for
B's
us.
were not for me. They weren't for me. But then, but the time in my life where I finally got to the size where I could fit into them, I begged my best friend to take me down to the store, and I finally bought my first pair of Frankie B's that fit me, but it's like, it came at what cost?
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's like, that's fucked up. It's so sad.
It's really sad.
That pain, even like being younger and going to like limited 2 and nothing fits me. You know what I mean? Like when you're trying to fit in and being young and in school and just hip and like wanting to wear the clothes that everyone else is wearing, yet they don't work on you. They don't fit.
I remember I have a very distinct memory of wanting to wear the Gap when I was a little kid. And they had small, medium, large. And then they had a size called Husky.
I fucking...
And I remember not wanting to say it out loud to my mom. Like, will you try to get me the H size? And feeling that ashamed that young is so crazy that I was a little girl. I didn't even have puberty yet, and I was ashamed.
And you had no options.
Yeah, exactly. Because I wanted to be cool and
of course,
pretty
because you deserve to be cool. You deserve to fucking wear things that are trendy and everybody does.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think right now is such a special time in fashion, in society, where people are logged on to being just more accepting.
Right.
Especially the fashion industry. It has got a long way to go, but
it's starting.
It's starting, and it's not. I think the waves that are being made are so big that they're not going anywhere.
I agree.
And it's just going to get better in time.
Right.
So I feel very fortunate to be a part of the wave.
Right. I agree. And at the
even
same
at my
time,
own expense, people are like, we're not photoshopping anymore. I'm like, cool.
Really?
Sick. I love being the example. Not, but okay.
Yeah. No, I feel you. When I first started porn, it was the same. They were caring less because they were getting paid less. So they're like, we just upload every single photo we took of you, and we don't even slap a filter on it. So that's so
not even no Paris filter.
No nothing? Paris. The audacity. So it's funny because I've grappled with my own self-identity and ego for a long time because I've been all over the spectrum.
Yeah.
And I've viewed how different I got treated when I lost weight.
Tell me about it.
It gives me chills even thinking how I was not a person and then I became a person of interest. It was I disappeared unless it was to be made fun of on occasion.
Yeah.
Versus being someone that everybody wanted to fuck.
Yeah.
And that spawned the eating disorder that lasted a long time because I was I want to have this power. It's powerful to not eat and be in control. But at the same time, at what detriment? And I was young enough that I don't know if it deeply affected me physically, but of course the mental marks it left on me is that skinny is better.
Of course.
Skinny is power.
That's what we're taught.
Skinny is I remember the movies we grew up on. Bring It On. Think about Bring It On.
Yeah.
We grew up thinking that was such a fun,
totally
happy movie, and there's so much body shaming in it. It's insane.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. The fat girl that's supposed to be fat, and she's not fat.
She's slim, athletic.
She's
got biceps.
You're fucking sick.
Yeah.
You're so bad.
I know.
What?
Yeah, I know. And so that was the same thing.
Right.
And so
yeah.
Am
I not allowed to shout?
No, you can
screaming.
I love it. I like passion.
I'm getting passion. Yeah, very passionate.
And so for me even to have struggled and when I say I grew up a fat kid, I'm not exaggerating. I was the person who didn't exist. And, my parents, I feel they were so beautiful and they almost didn't understand how they had this like fat kid daughter that was like depressed and shitty.
Are you kidding me? Like growing up with my mom's side of the family were all entertainers. My mom and
same.
Yes, exactly. We also have that similarity and so my mom's side of the family, so there's all women and there were a singing group in Motown and
wow, that's incredible.
It's really cool. And like Joe Jackson was their manager, Michael Jackson's father.
Of course, got chills.
Yeah, and my mom went on a world tour with the Jackson 5. You know, like they wrote their records and that was their life for a period of time. And in that time in the 60s and 70s, like, you know, the beauty standards were insane.
Oh yeah, popping off like peak.
Like coming out of like, the 50s baby boom and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, so this is like what you guys have been taught is like slim and trim and perfect exteriors and everything needs to look perfect from the outside and doesn't matter how much you're suffering on the inside.
Right.
And so that's the shit that they're carrying. And so that's now passed down to us. And so what I was taught was that like, if you are not beautiful and attractive and you don't have a good shape to your body and you're not fit, then you're not gonna find a man. You're gonna be sad and alone.
Yeah, what value are you bringing if you're not beautiful?
Right? And that's like literally the thing that was like just fucking drilled into me.
Right.
Yet I was still chubby and then fat and like all these things and I just wasn't that.
Right. And the encouragement you start getting when you lose weight. And like I was losing it at a young age. Like
totally.
I was really, really big until I was about 14 and then I started realizing that it was possible for me to lose weight. Started like taking more control over myself, which meant like restricting and whatever. And then I became addicted to the positive feedback I was getting.
1,000%.
And then you get to the point where all of a sudden how skinny you are is a problem.
Right.
And then people are like, are you okay?
You should eat something.
I was like, okay, so I need to find this balance that works for your aesthetics and your feelings.
Yeah.
But I'm like, basically, my high school self drinking half a Jamba Juice a day to like stay alive.
Totally. I was taking Adderall, like,
right,
and feeling like a psychopath, but at least I'm not eating.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's great.
Cut to now we are in front of the camera and it is a really brave thing to do. And I don't think it should be discredited by people when women decide to be models or actors. It's actually very vulnerable. You are basically exposing yourself to so much ridicule, especially now on the internet. Before you could just be in a magazine, I guess. And like,
you didn't have trolls right at your front door.
Right? I mean, you literally can't exist without someone having something to say about it.
Totally.
And that for me, a big subject that comes up a lot is my breast augmentation. And I've made the grave mistake of reading Pornhub comments, which I guess would be the same as reading a YouTube comment or if you're, an Instagram comment. And everyone's got something to say about them. And everyone's like, oh, she'd be so much prettier without them. All natural's the way to be. All natural, all natural, all natural. And I'm like, you don't know my life. You don't know my history. And even though I don't owe you an explanation, and it could have just been because I wanted them. Like I grew up with a breast deformity called tuberous breasts, and fixing them was the only reason I got breast augmentation because of the ideals that are like pushed into our psyche at a young age. It was like round, teardrop shaped, tiny nipple breasts are the only acceptable breasts. Otherwise, you are a disgusting monster.
I had a breast augmentation as well because of the asymmetry and tuberousness. Yes.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
I didn't know either. So here we go.
Because it's a really, really tough thing for me to talk about because it was such a thing of shame for me.
Same.
Yeah.
That's why I got it done because I would never feel comfortable even taking off my bra.
No, not even of girlfriends.
Not even girlfriends, not even a romantic partner. And then when I would in high school, I got bullied because of it.
Same.
So it's like, okay, this is all being reinforced that this isn't good.
Right.
And I'm not attractive. So this is something, and it's just like, it's sad that had to be it. Cause like if that weren't the case, maybe we wouldn't feel like we needed to change
Right. Like
that part
I
of
look
ourselves.
back and I think if I was born maybe in 2000 and I was, 18 or 20. Oh God. Okay. Let's fast forward.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm born in 2005. I'm 15 now.
Yeah.
And I have tuberous breasts, but I see all this body positivity on the internet.
Right.
Maybe I wouldn't feel so pressured
To
look quote unquote perfect.
Yeah.
And maybe I would be able to come to terms with the fact that this is just the way I developed. I didn't ask for it, which makes me insane.
Yeah.
People make fun of people for things that they can't
have any control over.
Roast me for my bad style. Roast me for like my something, that I have power over. But like I didn't ask for these, these breasts.
Totally.
And they were given to me, and I live with so much shame. I mean, like when a guy would take off my top, I would tense up.
Same. Oh my God, same.
Like tense up. I would not be able to enjoy sex. I wouldn't be able to come.
Completely.
I would and I would rationalize it with my partners. I'd be like, can we just not? Like, can we just not? Because I'm not going to have a good time. So if we can just keep like a bra on. And so when I see how cruel the internet is to people about augmenting their body or changing things, you don't need an excuse, but you also don't know where the fuck someone's coming from.
Yeah.
And people make remarks about these scars that I have on the sides of my breasts. And those are from being born and my lungs collapsing. So
Oh my gosh.
I have these crazy scars on the sides of my breasts,
I had
but
no
they
idea.
used to be on my rib cage.
Oh, but now
Because they created dimples.
Sure.
And I'm like, without those scars, I wouldn't be alive.
Right.
And like, I just don't understand how people so frivolously love to write people off like, oh, if her vanity hadn't gotten a hold of her so much and she'd just stayed all natural. I'm like, if I
maybe
sent
she'd
you...
just be dead. Like,
yeah, she'd be a dead baby. She was so much hotter as a dead... Okay,
no. Let's not go to dead baby jokes. Okay.
No. Getting this projection of what perfection is on us at such a young age constantly, and then getting scrutinized for not being all natural blows my fucking mind.
Yeah. I have no regrets about the decision that I made as well, personally.
She's maneuvering.
She's maneuvering. To me, it was a corrective surgery. That's like how I see it.
Yeah, and I don't like to go into detail because like I get still squeamish.
Oh, see, I don't. I'm like, my boobs look like they were used condoms.
That's how mine look too.
Yeah. So I say I can find humor in it,
No, that's great. I think that, I didn't acclimate as much because like once I lost the weight and I felt like I had almost achieved perfection, it was like, well, now I just have this one thing and I can't let anyone see this because this is vulnerable. This is like where you can hurt me the most.
Yeah.
So when I got my boobs done, only people really close to me knew like the real gravity of it all.
Right, sure.
For those of you listening, it turns out, I didn't know this before the podcast, but Matisse and I both actually had tuberous breasts, which is technically a quote-unquote deformity when I've looked it up. It's basically when the breast tissue doesn't form normally and it kind of has like more like a cone-like shape and the areolas are like kind of puffy, pointing down.
South.
Pointing south. And it's like, I'm 15, what's happening?
Yeah.
Hello?
And then one was like way bigger than the other. It was like,
same.
Like it was just so off.
Mine never got big. They were just like these giant areolas that had like nowhere to go. They were like, hello.
Give me a home.
Please build a breast around me.
Can you please fill me with saline? Thanks.
Anything.
I'll take
Help me. And so for me, I didn't have a lot of breast tissue to work with in the first place.
Okay.
And correcting something that's been that way for so long is actually quite challenging. And your body can still try to go back to its quote unquote old ways before. So my breasts, for some reason, were really difficult and they never wanted to like, so I was still.
They didn't want to like take.
They didn't want to take. So I was still getting like the really puffy areolas, which I still have. I've finally accepted that's
just.
And when I got this last surgery, I was like, this is it. If this doesn't work out, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep spending this money. And it's not out of like vanity. It's about, I started this process and I want to at least get to a place where I feel comfortable taking off my shirt.
Yeah.
And it was funny because for a while I felt like they looked kind of good, and I started doing porn. And then I started seeing the comments. What are those scars? Why do her boobs look like that? This, that, and the other. And it became, detrimental. And so it's like, how do we as people that didn't grow up like the norm, gorgeous, and had to kind of go through these really awkward phases, and we're still kind of going through metamorphosis constantly. Like, how do we put ourselves in these vulnerable positions and still keep our mental health intact and our own confidence intact? And
my gosh.
That's been like something
Yeah.
I've been teaching myself the past 3 years that I still haven't quite figured out. I don't know how it's been for you.
I mean, you need to kind of create a safe space for yourself. I think that's really what it comes down to, because you can't control anything outside of what you do and what you put out. So for me, how I keep myself sane in this industry and being so exposed is just also knowing that as much bad out there that people are always going to talk shit, but there's always going to be so much more you're giving to a woman who sees herself in you.
Right.
Do you know what I
absolutely.
mean? Like, that is so much more powerful. And that's how I kind of feel with what I'm doing a lot of times, is like I'm doing a lot of lingerie and swim that I wasn't ever comfortable with doing in the beginning of my career, because I had so many insecurities with my body and like not wanting to show certain parts. And so, and then I started opening myself up to that, and then seeing that I'm being booked for this because it's beautiful.
Well, yes.
Right.
It is. But like, we're not programmed
to think it. But it's like, it starts to kind of reinforce itself.
Right.
So it's like, for as much, trolls will be trolls, but the you being out there and being who you are and showing yourself for who you are is so much more impactful than what a fucking troll has to say.
Right. Or being the ideal. It's
Right.
Like there will forever be a smorgasbord, a plethora of the ideal. But again,
but there's also a plethora of the other.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like,
just
what is
starting to
the
get
ideal?
shown.
The ideal doesn't even make sense. It's not real.
No.
Like, it's made
it's
up.
a very specific genetic thing.
It's made up. It's fake. It's we've been brainwashed to think that that's ideal. That's not ideal. That's just another version of what a woman looks like.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not normal. It's not the way. It's not the one.
We're doing air quotes here, by the way.
air quotes, finger quotes. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's one way to look. And and you're another way to look, and I'm another way to look. And they're all normal.
That's absolutely true. And and they're all ideal depending on who's watching.
Exactly. Because everyone can have preferences, and that's totally fine.
Right.
But like, it doesn't make you less than or me less than or her less than.
I don't think I'm some big, I'm not like, oh, I'm a curvy girl in the industry. It's, big kudos to me. But at the same time, when you look actually at who are really like the top girls, there's only like 3 or 4 girls that have curves. And I'm always like, yes, I should embrace this. I should like be who I am, while simultaneously
Wanting to modify and change and alter everything about you.
Everything about me. Yeah. Arguing with the other side of me that's like, well, but lose those 15 pounds and, get more tan and hide your scars. And maybe you should get a BBL, and maybe you should get this and that. And like, it's crazy. So part of me feels hypocritical, and I'm like, yeah, like representing curvy girls.
And like, own your body. And
cut to me dissecting my body in front of the mirror, me having weird meltdowns when no one's looking about like things that people probably never notice. And you never know how someone feels about their body. And I feel like we both come across so strong and
super confident.
so confident, because I think that's a learned mechanism from the way we grew up.
1000%.
When you are not the pretty girl, you have to be the smart, funny.
You have to lean on everything
girl.
else. And
So it's funny, the moments that I've been like vulnerable on like my Finsta, that, whatever, people are just like, you come across so confident. I'm like, well, it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah. I didn't have a choice.
And then I do have moments where I look in the mirror and I'm like, damn, like you're stunning and you've made it here and that's so cool.
Did we also just make the point known that like whatever you choose to do to your body is okay, and like
Yes.
whatever your choices are
Your body, your
fine,
choice.
and your body, your fucking choice.
Yes.
Because I just want to make sure that point's driven home, and like
Absolutely.
no matter if you are comfortable,
Right. Like the thing here that I like to talk about is that it's also okay to not be okay with how you look, because I feel like there's a lot of body positivity out there and it's so incredible. It makes me feel like less than because I can't get on it completely, but we're trying. And
totally.
so I just, as someone who comes across confident, I just want to expose myself for being like, I'm not a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I did get my surgery out of a deep insecurity that came from a deformity, but also if you choose to get a BBL, if you choose to, whatever, get a nose job, this, that, the other, change your hair color, get veneers, whatever it may be.
Get duck lips if you want.
Do it. If it makes you feel better, if it gives you a sense of well-being, if it makes, you feel like an elevated version or the version of yourself that you have in your mind, then like, fucking do it.
Yeah.
And the whole like quote unquote all natural thing is like, I mean, that's cool too. That's so great for you that you grew up not feeling like you needed anything altered. That's fucking awesome. And I wish that was the case.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any shame on either side,
Yeah.
If you're all natural, rock that shit. And if you've gotten alterations, rock that shit.
Rock that shit. I think for me personally, self-acceptance has been a part of the journey, and learning to accept the things that you never maybe thought you could about yourself. And then there's some of those things where they just kind of linger around and you just you can't escape it.
Right.
And so like, those are the things that I think are kind of like where, open yourself up to being okay with if you want to go down a different road of whatever, modifying or not.
Right. And keep an open mind.
Keep an open mind. Don't close yourself off to anything.
Right.
And just be open to it all.
All right. So if there was a piece of advice you wish someone had given you when you first started modeling, what would it have been?
I guess I would say that you, Matisse.
No.
Oh, Matisse. That, the things that you maybe don't find beautiful about yourself that other people do and see value in, and then you'll eventually get there.
Get there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that that's kind of what you did, even though you didn't recognize it. You did take this kind of leap of faith of trying something new because a part of you did believe it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's like the beauty of, I think, taking a chance on modeling is that even though we are inherently insecure, there is a part of us that knows the capability of what we have deep down. And it's almost like you need someone else to kind of pull it out of you.
Yeah, totally. Because like I've always wanted to be in front of the camera.
Same.
Yeah,
We're such hams.
It's
we
not
we got
a secret. This has not been a secret. I've like literally flourished. I'm like, finally I can be myself. I'm not ashamed. I'm just like, okay, give me the camera. Like, let me play this part real quick.
Right.
And it feels great.
Yeah. And my advice too is you're going to see some photos of yourself that you don't like.
And just swiftly untag them. And
swiftly
be on your merry way.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if for some reason they cause you to spiral, because sometimes they do, pull up your favorite photo of you ever and be like, that's,
exactly.
That's who
I'm like,
I am.
ooh, that day was fire.
Yeah.
That lighting was great.
Yeah.
My HMU was on point.
Hair and makeup.
For all of you that aren't in the industry.
HMU. Yeah, that is one thing that you're going to have to accept if you ever enter any kind of entertainment industry where you're going to be out there modeling, whatever, acting, whether it's mainstream porn, whatever. There's going to be a final product out there that you have no control over.
Yeah. But the things that you do have control over is like when you're on set, you don't let anybody make you feel uncomfortable. Don't let anybody put you in things that you do not want to wear. Because that's really important, I think. Like, you can, outside of like styling wise or whatever, but like if you, if you're uncomfortable, you can say something. And that's
great
so
advice.
Important.
That's great advice, because I didn't do that when I first started porn, because you're new and you want to be cool and you want to
please everybody. You don't want to be you don't want to rock the boat. Yeah. Or rub anyone the wrong way. You just want to like be a team player.
Right.
And you want to be a team player. You all have the same objective, but also it's you that's being plastered everywhere, right? You're the face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, your image is being out there. So like, do not do anything that you're not comfortable with ever.
Absolutely. I learned that as I went. I would like see images and I'm like, no, like that could have been so much better.
Right.
If I just said something about
just
the
like,
way
no,
I was styled.
I'm not going to.
Or the
no.
Yeah.
You can just be like, no, I don't feel comfortable. And no one's going to force you to do anything you don't want to do.
Right.
I mean, for the most, like, if you're, yeah.
Yes.
That's another That's another podcast.
That's another episode. What are your thoughts on Photoshop and retouching? And do you Photoshop yourself? And do you retouch yourself?
I do appreciate good filter. I do tweak things here and there.
Same.
I don't think I go crazy. If I do, please someone tell me.
I've never seen a photo where I'm like, she looks extra long, or like, like some girls like make themselves look so long.
Yeah,
I'm like, woo.
I'm like, okay, yeah. I feel like it's
like
quite,
a piece of mozzarella getting
quite
stretched. I don't know. Sorry. Mozzarella. I know.
I came into modeling in this era of like, we're going all natural, no retouching. Like, a lot of big campaigns, like a lot of companies are committing to no retouching. And I feel like that is so important. And I think it's great. And it's a huge message to women and just people in general that like bodies as they are totally fine.
Right.
And great. They don't need to be airbrushed to be perfect. And this also, again, I think it's all of our conditioning.
Absolutely.
That we've been force fed since we were born, that we need to be flawless. Right. So like, I do appreciate it. I love it. I love that it's happening.
Because hopefully it's like creating a new imprint of what like
it is. I see it. I see it even in the younger generations of Instagram now. Like younger people are just posting as they are and like being unapologetic and just like, here's my fucking stretch marks. Here's my, my cellulite, my rolls, my XYZ, and
my acne scars,
my
whatever,
acne scars, what the fuck ever. Like, here are my wrinkles. This is me. And I find that really empowering.
Right.
So I love it, and I'm glad that it's here. It's hard. I have to do a lot of unlearning for myself because like, to me, I instinctually want to go to like, I need the most flawless photo of me to exist for me to post ever, because I want to be that version of me all the time.
Right.
So yeah, it's like a give and take. It's a line that you have to toe, but I love that it exists. I think it's so important, and especially for the younger generations, and that they're seeing this to be the new reality.
I love that.
So that's great. Yeah. So I think it's good. I think I have a lot of conditioning to unlearn.
I find some photos of myself untouched beautiful, and there's others that I'm like, you know what,
right,
can make this photo perfect. Just a little,
totally,
just a little.
Because there are a lot of other factors that play into
like this lighting. It makes me look like the crypt keeper, so let's just fucking smooth it out.
It's not gonna hurt anybody.
Yes, I can stand behind Photoshop in a reasonable way.
Don't make me not look like myself.
Exactly. Like if there's some rough lighting, if there's like and depending also on the image you're selling, depending on who you're working for, the brand, the campaign, what have you. There's a time and a place for a little smooth, a little, whatever. And then there's also like a really a big space for unedited
just being
photos
raw and
setting that example. Because even if we were conditioned a certain way, I think it's really nice if we can be examples for the next generation.
And
of
that's
women.
exactly what this is.
Yes.
And that's what exactly I feel like right now. And I feel, it feels good. It feels good to be here.
I love seeing you as a model. It gives me such joy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, today I worked on a set where I'm normally makeup, but they hired me as a model.
Was that kind of like ego move? Like, did you feel kind of like gassed a little? Were you
It was
like,
cool.
yeah.
It was cool. It was really cool. It was like I could, and then getting the positive feedback was nice.
Right.
To be like,
It's
oh my
very
gosh.
validating.
Yeah.
Like you're here because you're meant to be here, and it all makes sense to everyone, and it's cool to hear it from other people.
Yeah. Yeah, it is cool. And like and now it makes sense to me too.
I'm just so stoked you came on the podcast, popped your podcast cherry with Slut Shame This, which is such a fun one.
It was so easy.
It's easier than you think.
Painless. It honestly was.
Yeah. And you're incredible. I find you extremely inspiring. And we've always been kind of like in each other's orbits, but not super like tight. But I've always just loved watching your life from the internet and watching it evolve. And it's been really cool.
Nothing but love and respect.
That's why
Truly.
I specifically asked you to be on the pod, because I was like, I just want to talk to her about this.
I love that.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
on that note, Matisse, thank you so much. And we'll plug anything you want to plug. Do you want to plug anything?
I mean, go check out my
We'll link your Instagram.
at Yo Matisse.
Yo Matisse. If someone wants to look you up, what are some campaigns you've done that like maybe people could look up? Because I know you're like on walls in New York.
I was.
Like,
That was over
like
the
a
summer.
giant wall in New York.
I had a two billboards over the summer, which is like a huge monumental experience for me in my career. It was really kind of surreal. But it's with Cup, the lingerie company called Cup, CUUP. They just launched their spring campaign that I'm in for the second time, which is really cool. And I did an interview with them about mental health.
Amazing.
And it's linked in my bio on my Instagram if you want to go read that.
At Yo Matisse.
At Yo Matisse, yeah.
Speaking of things that you might want to plug, I want you to plug this because I've seen one of your Bernie ads, which was a perfume ad.
Yeah.
But now you're telling me about some other ad you have for Bernie?
So it was directed by my dear friend Amber, and there's a series of them, but along with the perfume ad, there is also these fake 1-900 ads.
And for the youngsters out there, 1-900 ads are when you were lonely late at night, a commercial would come on with a sexy lady encouraging you to call a 900 number so you could have some intimate relations.
Some phone sex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so it's like, so basically, but it's 1-833 not me us. And it's a real phone line. If you call it, you can actually make a donation to the Bernie campaign.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah. But they're really funny, and it's like a series of videos, and there's actually more that keep coming out.
Is there a place that we can see them specifically?
On Instagram at 1-833 not me us. And they're also on YouTube.
Cool.
So,
we'll link it in the
in
the show notes.
They're great. There's some really good ones, and I feel like I love mine. Is
yours a sensual seduction?
It's quite sexual, sensual and sexual. I'm fantasizing about our free healthcare. Bernie,
feel the burn. All right, and now it is time for the DM of the week. I have a couple that are kind of cute. And by cute, I mean, again, not the audacity, but the cockacity.
the cockacity.
That is...
I love...
Because it can go two ways.
It's a play on words.
It can be white or
1000%.
penis or both.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you think about it.
I have some cute ones too, but they're just like short and sweet.
Tell me what their short and sweet
This
are.
one guy's like, do we have a chance? Which is sweet.
That's sweet.
It's nice.
That's like, not coming in like I'm already inside you, which is a DM that I had once.
No, the other one's like, you're a goddess.
Matisse,
My DMs are
I want
pretty
your
cute.
DMs. Can I PayPal you $30 for your WhatsApp number?
Okay.
No!
So you can just text me whenever, $30. That's not nearly
Maybe
enough.
text you. I get $30 every time you text me.
Exactly. At
about
that,
that?
at that point, just sign up to my OnlyFans, where you can
Let me
DM me
plug.
for a mere couple dollars.
Yeah.
What else do we got here? Hi, fucking girl.
Oh, whoa.
Beauty, greetings from Mexico. It's all, people don't even try anymore. They're not even fucking trying.
Tell me your fantasies. What?
Some guys
Come
said,
on.
please say hi, Neil. So if you're listening, hi. Neil.
Hey.
Fuck you, Neil. Just kidding. And that wraps up our DMs of the week. Okay, guys, please screenshot and send me your DMs because mine are weak.
Mine are weak too.
They're either really nice or they're just
I
like,
mean, it's weak but
wanna fuck
sweet,
you.
so I'm not mad. Like,
Yeah.
come at me with the kindness versus the
like the caucasity.
caucasity. I have no time.
None.
I did have someone send me a dick pic, but I deleted it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I feel you.
wasn't interested.
I feel you.
Didn't ask for it.
Unsolicited, nothing is more upsetting or just like actually not even upsetting, but like throw it in the trash right away. Like, you know when you see a cockroach and you just want to just throw it and you just stomp it out and
Yeah,
like, make it go away as fast as
I want
possible.
to make it go away.
I feel about your unsolicited, not paid for dick pics the way I feel about a fucking cockroach.
Truly.
Get the fuck out of here. How'd you get in here? Where did you come from?
I'm trying to go to work. Why?
You just ruined my day.
7 a.m. Why are you here?
Fucking.
I hate you. I have so many other things to do right now, and now I have to fucking handle this.
Exactly.
God damn it.
Fucking roaches. As I mentioned a couple weeks ago on our last episode, I really want to hear from you guys. I would love to create an episode that revolves around your stories. I want to hear from you. Tell me about when you lost your virginity. Tell me about that weird time at that wedding that you met a bridesmaid and hooked up with a girl or whatever, and you're a girl, your first lesbian experience. Tell me anything that you want to share, a fun story about your love, sex, life, whatever. Email slutshamethis@gmail.com and we will happily make your submission anonymous, or we can also give you a shout out if you want. But I really, really want to make this a community of a safe space for people to talk about whatever. So please email slutshamethis@gmail.com. All right, and now it is time to read the review of the week. If you are on iTunes, please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. Your reviews help determine the success of this podcast, and so do your ratings. So if you are a fan, just let us know what you're thinking and give us that 5-star rating. This week's review is from Lego Mace Windu. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I love listening to you two talk about various topics. Thanks to your great personalities, and the vibe of the podcast is really chill and just overall a great time. Looking forward to more episodes in the future. Thank you. I agree with everything you said. No, thank you so much for your review. It definitely means the world to me, and it really helps us out. So thank you, Lego Mace Windu, or Lego Mace Windu. LMW, thank you. Love you. All right. Well, Matisse, thank you so much for coming to Slut Shame This. It has been such a pleasure having you. You are a joy to be around, and it was so fun to chat with you. And we'll link everything you mentioned previously.
Cool.
And yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, bye.
Bye. Wine clink.
I know, I'm the worst.
The gulp.
I know, it's disgusting.
I love it.
I hate mouth sounds, and I make so many of them. Okay. Come on!
Come on.
Okay.